This video, we'll talk about sports mouthguards and why it is so important to wear a mouthguard when you're practicing and when you're playing competitive sports. So mouthguards is a very hot topic, and I often get asked by patients and parents about what's the best type of mouthguard for them, for their kids. So it depends on what type of sports you're playing. It depends on the age of the patient. So today we'll talk a little bit about what makes mouthguards different and what type of mouthguard we make here at the Smile Place, what we generally recommend to our patients, and what other options are out there if you're willing to try and just do it yourself. So the most popular type of mouthguard that you can buy these days is what we call the boil and bite mouthguard. You can buy it very easily, any supermarket, any chemist, probably pay around $20, $30. And what you do is once you get home, you put it in a glass in a jar of hot water, you let it melt down a little bit, just soften up, pop it in your mouth, and with your fingers you squeeze it around the teeth. So it's not a very accurate fit. That's the main issue we have with these mouthguards. They're great for kids, growing kids, or if you just cannot have the time or don't have the time to have a proper one made. But we know that they don't offer the same type of protection as a custom-made mouthguard would. So the fact that it doesn't fit that well, often people complain that it's uncomfortable, that it's a bit too thick on some areas, too thin on other areas. For me, the worst bit about one of these mouthguards is that it doesn't really cover all the way up to the top on the gum where the roots of the teeth are. So it's okay covering the crowns, the bits of the teeth that we can see when we smile, but it offers no protection usually to the roots that sit up here under the lip. So it's something you could consider as an entry level or perhaps just as a temporary measure before you have a custom-made mouthguard made. So the type of mouthguard we recommend to the majority of our patients is a custom-made mouthguard. So what we do is we take a mold, impressions of your teeth, we come up with a little plaster model, and then the mouthguard is specifically made for you on top of that plaster model. So the fit is incredible. It really snap into place. They will not move. And not only this, but we're also able to actually shape it the way we want it. So we can make the mouthguard cover the teeth all the way to the roots underneath the gum, so you have extra protection. We can also imprint your bite. That way, when you put pressure on it, it actually feels better. It locks into place. So there's several types of custom-made mouthguards. And when I say types, I'm talking about the thickness of the mouthguard. So we can have single-layer mouthguards, so they're just one layer of the soft silicone. We can have double or even triple layer mouthguards. This is for patients who are into heavy contact sports, so martial arts, boxing. And what we do with these mouthguards is that they have an internal layer that fits really well over the teeth. They've got a plastic reinforcement layer just around the front teeth, so you get extra protection like a shell. And then you've got the outer layer that covers all the teeth all the way to underneath the lip. So these mouthguards, they're really, really strong. They're even hard to bend compared to the softer ones. So we find that this is perhaps most suitable for adults because it doesn't really allow for any growth. So we'll make these for patients over 18. Whereas the softer types, we tend to make them for kids, teenagers, when they're still growing a little bit, so you get more use out of them. But regardless of each type of mouthguard or custom-made mouthguard that you end up getting, rest assured that it is a perfect fit, they'll be comfortable, and that it will do its job. It will protect your teeth, will protect the roots of your teeth, and it's the best way to prevent a very expensive accident from occurring. So having a mouthguard made is a very simple process. You come in for a 10-15 minute appointment where we talk about why you need a mouthguard and figure out what type is best suitable for you or your child. We take a set of impressions and molds of your teeth. We pick the color of the mouthguard, so you can have plain colored mouthguards, or you can have footy teams, whatever you choose, you can customize it. We are also able to put the phone number and your name inside the mouth guard. This is especially good for kids when they're playing teams and they take the mouth guards off to have a drink of water. Not that you need to with these ones because they fit so well and they won't move if you drink water. But once we do all of that, it takes us or the lab perhaps a week or so to actually prepare the mouth guard. You come in to pick it up. We very rarely have issues with the fit. They're very, very accurate. And then off we go. Now, we'll talk a little bit about what's the latest in technology in terms of mouth guards. So the one situation where perhaps I will be recommending a ball and bite mouth guard are for kids that have braces. So it's an issue with braces because it's very difficult to take impressions, and it is also very hard to make a mouth guard to fit over the braces. Plus, as the teeth move around, often in a very short span of time, the mouth guard stops fitting very quickly. So in these cases, you can buy mouth guards such as this one. This one is Australian made, and it's a mouth guard, a ball and bite mouth guard made specifically for kids with braces. So it does have a couple little retention features that helps the mouth guard lock in place. So this will be a suitable alternative as opposed to not wearing anything. So yes, I think if you're able to get a custom-made mouth guard, but if you have braces or if you need something in a pinch, then a ball and bite mouth guard as a last resort will be acceptable. Now, the latest development in mouth guards is using 3D scanning and 3D printed. Not the mouth guard itself, but the models that we use. That way, you don't have to go through the whole impression process. A lot of our patients don't really like the goo, especially the kids. So we use our 3D scanner, and what we do is we come up with a 3D model of your teeth, a 3D printed model of your teeth, and this is then in turn used to make the mouth guard. So this is pretty exciting, very cool. It's a very, very recent technology, and I think that it now got to the point where we can really offer it to our patients. So we'll be talking more and more about this in the upcoming months. So we find that a mouth guard will usually last for about a season for kids. That's due to growth and the teeth changing all the time. But it can last quite some time for adults, especially if you're taking good care of it. If you're not leaving it out in the sun, if you're cleaning it, brushing it after every use, if you're putting it back in its case and keeping it away from pets that love to chew your mouth guard. So as long as you take good care of it, if you're an adult, if you have a custom-made mouth guard, you should get at least a few years out of it. If you're a child, growing child, then you should expect to have a new one made once a year. Now, a lot of parents ask me, Andre, the cost is quite high compared to a ball and bite. Am I not better off having a ball and bite mouth guard and just replacing it all the time? Yes, the cost is a big difference. However, as I said before, the protection offered by one of these custom-made mouth guards goes beyond comparison. So seeing a lot of accidents and trauma the way we do here, seeing a lot of kids coming in with broken teeth because they're not wearing the mouth guard wasn't fitting properly. If you have an accident with a front tooth and you have a broken tooth or, God forbid, it's knocked out, it's an issue that you have to deal with for a very long time and potentially lifelong consequences. So I think that the cost of a custom-made mouth guard in comparison to years and years of treatment down the track, it's nothing. So it's really worth it. And I strongly recommend to all of our patients that are playing sports, kids or adults or anything in between, that they should have a custom-made mouth guard fitted. One suggestion or perhaps a piece of advice, a lot of the cases, young kids that we see here are trauma, broken teeth. It's not even because they didn't have a mouth guard, it's because they were practicing and they're not wearing the mouth guard. So it's important for the parents, and we've been talking to schools as well, that they really should encourage the kids to wear the mouth guards at all times, not just during the competitions, but during practice as well. We see more cases of trauma in kids that were practicing and not wearing the mouth guards than we do kids during competitions. Because usually nowadays we find they have to wear them, so there's no excuses. So just keep that in mind, very important. So click the like button if you find this video useful. Don't forget to comment and subscribe.